Hi guys, welcome to Girl Time Chit Chat every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. I am so happy that this is going well. And I have to thank you guys for all your input and your views. They're really helpful. We have a big day planned today. So we're going to do DEARABBY911 at yahoo.com. And we have three things we want to talk about: obesity, anxiety, and aging. We have three people that, so we're going to hit those. Also, big spam scan thing going on that I got to tell you guys about. And then, if we have time, we'll do the Nelly Blye story that got me really good, that I loved it. We're going to start with the makeup and the big scam going on. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's crazy. So anyway, I always start with Hope Salve as my, it only takes a little bit. And you can get this on blessingjarco.com. She still has the Etsy shop too, but if you go to blessingjarco.com, I'll put the link. You'll get to see some family pictures, and also the shipping is less. She's kind of mad at Etsy, but I want you guys to check both Etsy and her .com site. On Etsy, she's the blessingjarco.etsy.com, because sometimes the shipping is cheaper on blessingjarco.com, and that's what she's trying to get you. Plus there's other goodies there that you can check out, but I'll do a video on that on, I think, Sunday, so you know. So I'm going to kind of let that sink in a little bit before I get started. So the scam, which I'm gotta tell you guys about, here's what happened. I share, and I'm allowed to share this. I put the lighter foundation, which is the photo finish by Wet n Wild. I put it the places that I want it to be lighter. Anyway, let's get to this new scam that's out there. Hope gets a phone call, right, from, then I do the darker one, the darker places. She gets a phone call, and it comes up on the caller ID as the sheriff with a phone number. Okay, so she's like, what is this about? So she answers the call, and it sounds so official. And the person on the other line says, you know, they're the sheriff, yada, yada, yada. And that she owes $2,500. And I forget what it was for, but it sounded legitimate. I don't know if it was something medical or something. Anyway, so he's like, you have to pay this, yada, yada, yada. They hang up, and she's like, okay, right? Scam. So she goes and she Googles that county's sheriff's phone number, and it's the same as the number that called her. Okay. So she's like, oh my God, you know, this must be legitimate. So she calls the number back, and she's like, okay, you know, I'm gonna pay this. And she pays it. Then she calls us, and we're like, well, wait a minute, hold on, Hope, that doesn't even sound right. So as it turns out, she goes and she Googles the county's main office, and she calls them, and she tells them, you know, is Sheriff yada 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 there? And they say, we don't have a sheriff by that name. And we've been getting a bunch of phone calls from people that are saying, you know, they need to pay X amount of dollars. And Hope's like, oh my God, I just sent, I don't know who, this money. So let's recap this a minute. The caller ID said sheriff and the number for that sheriff. when you Google it, the number is that number. And it says the sheriff for this county. So, as it turns out, my son Michael said, and I'm going to powder with this Wet n Wild's Photo Finish Translucent Powder. My son Michael said, Mom, don't you know that you can make your number anything you want it to be and say with like this scammy thing? So we called the bank and hope, they checked it out and they, got her money back. But what was so intriguing to me was that they could get a phone number that if you Google it, it's the same number as, as the real place with the real name. Are you kidding me? So that was just so alarming to me. And so you have to be really careful, even more careful than we used to be, right? I'm going to do a little bit more dramatic makeup today, because who would have thought that you go, you do your due diligence, you check the number, you check everything out, and whammo, it all looks legit. It all looks, on the up and up. You make the payment or whatever, you send the money, and there it was a big fat fake. I feel so bad about it, because she's from the younger generation that, knows better about these scams. Usually they try to scam. You hear the one where they call you and they say, your grandson is in jail, and they target older people. Your grandson is in jail and you have to send X amount of dollars to get him out, and blah, 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 blah. There was that one that was out there. We have to be so careful because they keep getting smarter and smarter. Remember that video I did on those romance scammers and they're on my page. I see them. Oh, and they say the same thing to every one of us. Oh, I love your profile. You just sound so great. Yada, yada, yada. And then they end up little by little by little heisting you into sending them money. So I'm going to do my lipstick today. It's going to be Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink. And the color is, let me see if I can get it on there. That's the color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay on my my lip stain over top of it. So anyway, I wanted to do the scam first, just to give you guys a heads up on this. I shouldn't talk when I do this part. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. So that's that. Let me tell you about Nelly Blye. So you know how I'm all about, women helping women, and, women trying to move forward in the world and in life. Now I'm using my Dragon Stain number 5. Or top. Here's what I do so it doesn't get on my teeth. And it doesn't get on my teeth. Okay, so women helping women. Nelly Blye. We've all heard the name, but it's like, what is it about? So she wanted to be, this was like a gazillion years ago. She wanted to be a big reporter. She wanted to be like a journalist, right? And there just wasn't that room for women at that time to be that or to have that. And she went to New York and pressed a bunch of papers and whatnot and was like, let me be a reporter, let me be a reporter. And they're like, no, no, no. Everybody's like, no. So she finally gets to a very, very famous paper, New York Times. It wasn't called that at the time. And the guy's like, okay, tell you what, I'll give you this assignment. Go to this insane asylum and get me the lowdown on what's going on in there. Lipstick on my teeth. And she's like, done, I'm on it. And she knows it's like crazy to do. Anyway, so she goes to this woman's place. It might have been a nunnery, and acted all like cuckoo crazy. So they committed her, right? She got in. Easy to get in, harder to get out. So she gets in there, and she realizes that so many women that are in there aren't crazy. Some of them that are in there, their husbands put them in there because, well, they were a little emotional during their period. What? So anyway, she makes friends with these people. They're mostly women. And what she does is she gets the lowdown on it. And this is what she finds. She finds that they are being tortured. They're being beaten like every day. They are, I'm going to go in with, I think my white as usual, then I'm going to get dramatic. They're getting beaten every day for no reason. They are made to eat rotten food, not good food, rotten food, made to drink dirty water, and their baths consisted of a cold, I'll wait till the plane. Their baths consisted of a cold bucket of water being thrown on them while they're still fully clothed. They were abused, not just physically, emotionally, in every way you can imagine. Just abused. So, and obviously not fed well. I'm going to go dark today. Let's see what happens. So anyway, she's there like 3 days, and she's like, I've had enough. I've heard enough. I've seen enough. I got to get out of here. So she goes to them, like the administration, and tries to tell them, you know, hey, I'm not crazy. I'm in here on a mission, you know, on an assignment. You need to let me out. I'm totally sane. And of course, they don't believe her. So now she is stuck with, you know, not being believed. And I usually go right up the corner and wipe. Right up the corner and wipe. Now blend, blend, blend like a mad woman. Since we're talking about Nelly Blye. So she can't get out. Can you imagine? I mean, just no one believing you. And what happens is 10 days later, I think it was a week or 10 days, something like that, the newspaper comes in with their lawyers, with their authorities, and say, let her out. She's not, you know, we're reclaiming Nelly Blye. She's not insane. She shouldn't be in here. And so she gets out. And they write up this whole news article that she, you know, that she basically wrote up about what happened at this place. And in a nutshell, they ended up obviously closing down the place. And I'm using Epic Wear by NYX. I've been using a lot of NYX. Oh wait, I need to use my mirror. But the point is, hold on. The point is that this woman who wanted to succeed in you know, journalism and stuff, what she had to do in order to get there, you know, above and beyond what men would have to do to get the job, but she did it. So anyway, they ended up closing down the place. She ended up having tons of accolades. She got a permanent job with the paper, doing, you know, serious articles, because at the time, women were only allowed to do stuff on fashion, on how to clean your house, you know, that sort of thing. So she was like one of the first women to get to be a serious journalist. So my idea is, oh, I hate doing this eye. I really can't talk while I do this. Okay. So my idea in this, what I got from it, because I'm always looking for strong women and what they did and how they succeeded, is that never give up and do what you've got to do to break through. And a lot of times it's really, really difficult to do that. So that is the Nelly Blye story that I thought was amazing. I'm gonna wait to put this on. I'm gonna do a little curling of the eyelashes too, but I have to wait till that dries. Oh dear. Okay, so anyway, that was that story. Did you like it? I have to wait for that to dry because I want to curl my eyelashes, put on mascara, and do my balm stuff. I'm gonna wear my hair up today, and I just went ahead and put a roller in for earlier I did. Anyway, I do want to say thank you so much for chiming in with the DEARABBY911. And, you know, someone said, oh, what does she think she is? You know, a therapist, a Dr. Phil. No, this is just a community of women. It's like hanging out with your friends and telling them what's going on in your life. And that's what this is. And your friends will tell you what they think, or maybe something that could help. That's all. It's not medical advice. It's not anything like that. And of course, I have to say, always check with your doctor, because we are going to get into one thing that deals with obesity. So we're going to talk about that too, but we'll start that in just a minute. But I wanted to thank you for chiming in. I wanted to thank you for writing. By the way, anyone can write to DearAbby911@yahoo.com and anonymously tell me what's going on. I'll share it with the community. And you know what? It's women helping women. Let me see if I can curl these now. And then we'll get into our 3 that we're doing today, because I really wanted to get them out because they're all so important. Oh, this isn't working. I know we used these for years. I'm going to put my fake ones back on. I'm going to do my dad's garden, you guys. You're going to see that probably Monday, or Monday I might be doing the tooth stuff. All right, let's whip on some mascara and be done, because I want to get to the Dear Abby's. I think I'm just, this is just L'Oreal Voluminous. I'm gonna throw this on a little bit. I won't do the bottom lashes, I'll just do the top. Okay. And then I just want to get to the Dear Abby's, be done with this. Oops. I need more mascara. All right, let's start with the DEARABBY911s. Put this on later. So, today we have, take this out too. I cut my bangs. Much better. They were really in my face. Love my Velcro rollers. Someone keeps saying, where'd you get them? Where'd you get them? I think I just got them at Dollars. I got one set at the dollar store, and I got another set on Amazon. Okay, let's do the DEARABBY911s. All right, let's start with, we're just going to start with this one. Okay, this is from Lovey's mom, and she says, I've been obese most of my life and have chronic lymphedema. My knees hurt so bad, I can hardly walk. Doctors don't have any answers except prescribing pain pills. I hate that. At 77, I don't know if I will ever get this resolved. Lovey's mom. Okay, Lovey's mom, here's my thoughts. And you guys chime in too. I've struggled with obesity as well. I think so many of us have. I mean, there's overweight and there's obesity, but in any event, it holds you back. For me, the most important thing was not so much, I got over that, how do I look? Like, I want to look good. I got over that, and I focused more on how do I feel. So I wanted to feel better. I wanted to do things with my family. So Lovey's mom, here's my thought, and always check with your doctor, is that if you're sitting in a chair, start moving. Meaning, yes, you have to start somewhere. So you're sitting in a chair, move your feet, just like this, 10 times, or like this, 10 times. Take your knees, bend them up, 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 do it 10 times. Roll your shoulders, do it 10 times. Roll your neck, do it 10 times. In other words, even if you're sitting, sit up 6 inches, sit up 6 inches in a chair. Because you know what? That is more movement than maybe you've done the day before, the week before, the month before, the year before. And little by little, increase it. They also have those machines, you can get them on Amazon, but you're sitting down and you just pedal. And what this does, it gets your joints moving a little bit, it gets your heart moving a little bit, you're using some muscles that maybe you don't use that often. And little by little, because this is all baby steps, you are doing something more than you did the day before. Also, what we're eating. So foods that make me feel really good and really strong are lentils, and as Popeye would say, spinach. Those two things make me feel so good when I eat them. Obviously, try to stay away from carbs and sugars. And, do it little by little by little until you start to feel good and better, because that's where it starts. It's so difficult to start. That's why I say start in a chair, sitting down. You're watching TV, just move something. Do it 10 times, whatever's comfortable for you. Never give up. Keep trying. And that's my advice. You guys chime in, and that is for Lovey's mom. Okay, the next one. I get this one, yeah. So this is 60. This is how she signs it, and this is how you'll address her. 60, feeling 50. I turned 60 in January. Me too. Boy, I'm struggling with my age. I think about getting older, how life is too short. I don't feel old. I'm told I look younger, but phew, getting my head around 60 is really scary. How do you move forward and not being afraid of aging? Thanks. 60 feeling 50. 60 feeling 50. I don't know if you were here a couple of weeks ago. I was on here with these guys, and I was chit-chatting about getting lip injections and fillers, and because I turned 62. 60 as well in January, and I was having trouble wrapping my mind around it, and I was physically seeing uckiness. So, but then, you know what? The people on here made a lot of sense. Like they said, Antonella, the things that they said were super, super helpful. And what I got from it is this. Have you ever met someone who's really pretty when you first meet them, and then you get to know them and they're not as pretty? You're like, they're just not that pretty to me anymore because they're not that nice. Or the opposite. Like, have you ever met someone that, isn't the best looking person on the world, but you get to know them and you get to talking to them, and you're like, all of a sudden they become more attractive to you. So my point is, it doesn't matter what's out here. What matters is what's in here. And the goodness and the beauty comes forth. I mean, when I went through chemo, I lost this tooth. The chemo fried my jaw, and the tooth fell out. I can't get it replaced because the jawbone is so thin. It's like here's the jawbone, super thin, and right here are my sinuses, and they could poke right through. So I have to be really careful. I lost one over here at Pell. And I can do something with that, but it costs a fortune. So anyway, the point is this, is that it doesn't matter what this is. It matters what this is. And so I thought, okay, I'm 60. And I actually got mad because I'm like, God, you know, as far as looks go, all you gave me was good hair and teeth, and those are gone. But really, that's not true. And 60 feeling 50, you're lucky. You're lucky that people tell you that you look younger than you are. You're lucky that you feel younger than you are. That 60 for you is just a number. That's all it is. So you blaze right past it and you keep on keeping on. Love it. Okay, next one. So this one was, this one was tough. Okay, this is a prayers request. And it is, she signed her name, so I'm not going to say her name, but she, at the end, she writes hugs, exclamation point, exclamation point. So that's how I think we should address her. Okay, hi Antonella, this means so much to me that I can reach out now. All of a sudden, in my 50s, I've been taken over by anxiety, and it's so overwhelming. When you talk about your son, it helps me not feel so alone. Thank you. Please keep me in your prayers. Hugs. Hugs. It's a real thing, anxiety. You guys know I shared my son Phillips with you guys, with his permission. It's a real thing. It is not just, I mean, it is a medical, real thing. It's crippling. Ambulance has gone to my son's house, I think 3 or 4 times because he thought he was having a heart attack. That's how bad it is. Some things that helped him, hugs, is vitamin B complex, B as in boy, vitamin D, D as in dog. Also, this is strange, but it helped. He took frozen orange, put 2 oranges in the freezer, and he'll take one out at a time when it starts, and he rolls them around his neck, down his chest. That seems to help a little bit. Him calling us, he'll call me or Chris and talk through it. And most of the time I'll tell him, no, that's the anxiety talking, Phil. Listen to, listen to yourself. Listen to mom. Don't listen to the anxiety. It's a real thing. And anyone that says to someone with anxiety, just get over it. It's not real. It's not real. Just get over it. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's craziness. And my heart goes out to anyone with anxiety. I wasn't clear on what anxiety really is until my son Philip started suffering from it, and it just came on. Anyway, there's also medications, and he's tried a lot of them. But in any event, check with your doctor. Not everything works for everyone. Everyone's situation is different, but it's a real thing. And I'm so glad, Hugs, that you got this out there, because you are not alone. So many people suffer from this. And yet they're embarrassed to talk about it because they're like, oh, it's not real, it's stupid, it's all in my head, yada, yada, yada. It becomes physically, manifested physically. It is real to them, to you, to the person that's suffering from it. Very real. So, and I know my girls here, our friends here, know a lot about it, and they can give you lots of advice on it. So, that's the 2 cents there. I don't know if it's any help at all. But you know what, guys? Sometimes it's just nice to be able to get it off your chest. So if you need to get something off your chest, or you just want to, vent a little bit, DEARABBY911 at yahoo.com. I'm listening, and so are we. Okay, you guys, that's it for now. Stay tuned, though, because we're I might do, well, you know what? Sunday night, I'm going to explain the whole Etsy and .com site. She's kind of mad at Etsy. I'll tell you all about that on Sunday night. Monday, I'm either going to do my daddy's garden. It's delicious this year. Um, or the teeth whitening. We'll see. Okay. Love you guys. Bye-bye.